Hello, I'm Chris Young, the Director of Workforce Development at the Texas Department of Transportation. And today I'm going to be presenting on our Unmanned Aerial Systems training in the context of the Agency Capability Building Framework. To summarize our project, we recognized as an agency in 2020 that after finishing years of research, TxDOT was officially being charged with leading Texas's oversight and adoption of unmanned aerial systems technologies in our state. So, building on the agency capability framework, the challenges we identified were addressed, and TxDOT now has a robust organizational capacity for unmanned aerial systems operations and oversight, which is enabling a new operations focus that meets our public's expectations. The challenge for us was largely to embrace the emergence of quote unquote drones as a remote sensing platform and more. We recognized that civilian and commercial applications were leading the market, leaving many public entities behind, including the Department of Transportation. We also recognized our responsibility to the public as being responsible for public airspace and noticing that that public airspace is going to require public entity oversight. Using the agency capability framework, we recognized the change forces that were coming into play, the needs that would be impacting our organization, and the strategies we would use to address the challenge. The innovation for TxDOT was to create an agency-wide response to this new technology and practice that addressed the needs and used different strategies to make sure we had a robust response. Our specific actions included a lot of strategies from the agency capability framework, including organizational management, some knowledge management tasks, and our partnerships as well. Specifically, I'm going to focus here on how we developed a new organizational capacity, and that falls under the context of partnerships. Our specific action really focused on what we could do as an agency. We needed to develop a new organizational capability for the use of unmanned aerial systems, and we were faced with the same triple constraint as every other project or program. Cost, quality, and time are the factors that come into the triple constraint. And for us, the most important part of that was speed. So we wanted to get this program up and operational as soon as possible to not only catch up with the commercial space, but to make sure that we were leading in the public space before anything impacted our operations negatively. So we recognized that with time being of the essence, we had to very realistically ask for the additional funds and emphasize this project as something that was prioritized in our budget requests. In terms of quality, certainly we want to look at the quality of the program, but for us in the program and project context, it was easy to determine quality because we did not have an organic capability to train folks in drone or unmanned aerial systems technology. So we didn't have the quality because we didn't have the program. Some of the actions we took specifically were to set up a robust support network internally to make sure that we had all the resources in place for an agency-wide initiative impacting over 13,000 employees, all of our customers, and the traveling public. Our aviation division was charged with creating everything that we needed to support this program, on top of us pursuing those partnerships behind the scenes. In specific, with our program details, we reached out to a known partner to us, someone who had an existing unmanned aerial systems program at the Austin Community College, and we partnered with them. We did it in such a way that we could make sure that we were in charge of the overall program, but that the actual training was being conducted by Austin Community College, an already approved provider of unmanned aerial systems training that put together a program that really responded to our needs as a public agency. Since drone training does require in person attendance for certain aspects of licensure, we knew that we really had to work with a program that was going to maximize our time on location and not put an undue burden on our internal customers. When all was said and done, we had an established interagency contract with a partner in the community, Austin Community College, that was ready to go almost as soon as we were ready to sign contracts. And that meant that we had an established program for an unmanned aerial systems capability. It was well communicated throughout the enterprise and is recognized as being authoritative. Having that mandate from the state that TxDOT would be the address for unmanned aerial systems operations meant that we had to make sure that we were doing everything that everyone could benchmark to. It was a successful endeavor and an almost invisible change. So we recognize that establishing any new agency capability is really an exercise in organizational change management. And yet, the way our aviation division and our administration was able to communicate these changes to the rest of the workforce made it such a seamless change that we were ready to just accept applicants to our pilot training as soon as we opened the doors to the SharePoint site. The results have been that we now have 121 licensed UAS pilots across the state of Texas, which does a few things for us. It enables new research that we've started in 2016 using remote sensing platforms and now expanded that to other horizons, pun intended. And it has allowed us to be in a position where we have so many pilots available that we're not beholden to consultants, contractors, or niche service providers who provide those services throughout the state of Texas, keeping costs low not only for us, but ultimately the taxpayers who are funding our operations. We look forward to the next year and training more drone pilots, getting more folks qualified to operate our unmanned aerial systems, and see what research takes us into the future and to new agency capabilities. Thank you.